I think. Can you hear me now properly? Okay, good. Okay, so actually I have uninstalled Jenkins, so I was installing it again. Okay, so today we will continue to our Jenkins. In the last week, what we have discussed that what is Jenkins, how to install it, and how to create the jobs. And also we have seen that how to create a master and slave architecture. On top of that, we have created a job which basically get the data from the GitHub and move that data into our master or slave system for the further processing. Right. So these all things we have discussed. Now I hope my Jenkins service is running. So let me check it out. So if I say systemctl status of Jenkins. So yes, it is running. And if it is running, so I can see my, let me close. What is this? Okay. So let me open my AWS. This is, okay, 1 second, let me get my mobile. Okay, so okay, so my EC2 instance is running. So this one I just created. So this is my IP address. And if I paste it here with port 8080, so I can see the, okay, so I will just, because it's a fresh installation, so that is why it is asking for the initial password. Okay, so this is my initial password. I will copy it and I will paste it here. Okay, I will create a user, and also in the last lecture we have seen that how to create the users and how to give the access. Okay, so I'll create this. Okay, so this is my URL, save. Yeah, hello Hemant. Sorry, I just see your message. All right, so last time we have seen that how to create the jobs and how to create the post-build jobs as well. Okay, so today we will talk about the CI/CD pipeline. But before going to the CI/CD pipeline, so I want to show one more thing in our Jenkins. So under your Jenkins, if you go to manage Jenkins, and here when you install any plugin, okay, so there are different options. One is the update. Update means uh, the uh, the plugin which you have already installed. Is there any update for that? So that list it will show over here. Available basically indicates that these plugins are available, and but these are not installed. So do you want to install it or not? So whatever, and here is the filter. If you want to search something, you can search this. Search here. So say an example, if I say search build, so it will show everything which is related to build. So here you can see MS build, here builder is coming, and here you can see build script and so on. Next is that installed. So the plugins which we have already installed. So in the starting, it asks whether you want the suggested plugin or your own custom plugin. So in that case, I select whatever the plugins I have selected. So those plugins it will show here. Okay, and again, if you want to search, you can search it here. Next is the advanced. In the advanced, basically, what do? You um, upload any plugin. If you want to upload any plugin which is not listed uh, in the default plugins, but it is compatible with the Jenkins, so that you can load it over here. Okay. So these are the different plugins. So we will use today build pipeline, so which is basically helpful to uh, which will be helpful to create the CI/CD pipeline. Now, if I go back to my Jenkins, and if I go to manage Jenkins one more time, and here you can see the configure system. Okay, so in configure system, basically we use for one purpose. There are a lot of settings available in this configure systems. Like this is your home directory of the Jenkins. So if I copy this and if I go to my this home directory, if I say ls and if I paste that user lib, okay, so it is showing all the Jenkins related things like Jenkins log, Jenkins jobs, right? And if I say instead of an ls, if I say ls minus l, okay, so you can see there are some files, folders. So everything which is related to Jenkins, you can find it over the Jenkins home directory. So say an example, if there is a job you have created, so you can go to the uh, jobs, right? If you want something related to mm, users, nodes, plugins, secrets, so all that information you will find it over here. And here it is mentioned, this is our home directory. And if you see down here, there is a extended email notification. So this extended email notification is basically used for the email notifications. So say an example, when you are creating a CI/CD pipeline, at that time you want to send some notification to some users. So what you can do, you can use the email notification, actually not extended email notification. And here you need to provide your SMTP server name. So say an example, if you are using smtp dot gmail, I think that is the one, gmail.com. Okay, if you want to send a notification through Gmail, but you have to do some settings into the Gmail so that it will allow your Jenkins to send the email. Okay, and then if you go to the advanced and you are saying that I want to use the SMTP uh, SMTP authentication, it means you need to provide the username and password. So whatever the valid username or password. So say an example, if I say uh, online, if I say online training, so that is one of my email ID I'm using, training guy at gmail.com, and I need to provide the password. It, it may not work because of some security on my account, but if you have the full permission, then it will definitely work. And you can use the SSL, right, and SMTP. So SMTP port number is 465 for Google. If you want to reply to some email address, you can give that email address. And if you want to do the testing, you can perform the testing here. So I want to send to this email ID. Okay. So probably in my case, it will not work because of some permission issue. But if it is everything is fine, then what you will find that it will be sent successfully. So if I go to my account, okay, and if I go to Gmail, probably get some security alert because Gmail send the notification of the security alert. So you can see there is a security alert came. So sign in attempt was blocked. But if it is not blocked, right? So your mail will be properly configured. And once it is configured, when you bit, right? If, because in this case it will not work because it is so. We'll save it. So it is taking some time. Yeah. Yeah, Vibhakar, I will update that Maven part. Most probably today I will do that. So now what I have done, I have created one email notification. Now if I create a job and post build action, if you want to send the email notification, okay, so that email notification basically picked up by that particular settings which you have done. Means SMTP user ID and all the configuration, it will pick it from there. And here you just need to send the notification. Okay, so say an example, you want to send the notification to abc@pdl.com. Okay, so then space, white space you need to give, and you want to uh, send it to the multiple people, then you can give that email ID. So this way, basically, your uh, email notification works. CI and what is CD in our lecture, right? So
Muted.
let me just explain one more time what is CI/CD pipeline. So CI is continuous integration, which is basically whenever developer is developing the code and the code is in the GitHub, and once the code is in GitHub, then it is to be built and it is to be tested. And if there is anything which is related to code, if there is any issue, the feedback will go back to the developer. Okay, so that was the CI. And CD is continuous delivery or continuous deployment. So the difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment, after test, you want to move it to the staging. So move to uh, some integration testing or your UAT servers. Okay. So in that case, the the there is a manual intervention is required to move the code to the production. So for the MTP, move to code to production, you need some manual intervention or manual approval. So that is called the continuous delivery. But if there is no manual intervention is required, then it is called the continuous deployment. Okay, so that is the CI/CD pipeline. Now let us see how to create that CI/CD pipeline by using Jenkins. So to perform this kind of activity, first we need to create, what we will do, we will create a GitHub project. Okay, and in the GitHub we will have some file or your project, basically it is there. Okay, and that project you want to download, and we have seen in the last lecture how to download a project from GitHub to uh, how to download a project GitHub to master server or the slave server, and we will use that same technique. But here now I will use a concept which is webhook. So in webhook, basically what will happen, that I want that as soon as developer is updating the code in the GitHub, it should be automatically build or test, or after that rest of the thing will work. So basically, I want to create a pipeline in such a way that whenever so my job one, so I will create a job which is called the Git job, and of is to pull the latest code from GitHub. So this will be my This will be my job one. So my next job is to, so I will create job two, which will be executed once job one is successfully done. So next job will be to build the project, build the project. Okay. So if your code is which is Maven compliant, then you use the commands. Or if it is index.html, then whatever you want to do, means it depends upon the type of project which you are using. So if you remember in our Maven class, we have different uh, types of projects, and if such kind of projects are available, I want to build it, so we can use the Maven here. Okay, or Maven or any other build tools to build the projects. So once that project is built, then there will be a job three. Okay, so job three is to test the project. So testing the project is basically you need to use some testing techniques or test automation like Selenium. Okay, so in this job, what I will do, I will just say, I will just say that testing is done. So I will echo some message which says testing is done. Okay. Now, once it is done, then there will be a job 4, and that job 4 is basically for moving the code to the staging server. So I will say uh, moving the code, moving the build code basically to the staging server. Okay. So before that, what I will do, what we can do, we can test it, build it, test it, moving that code. Okay. Okay. So moving that code into the staging server. So we will create a Docker machine, right? We will have a Docker file concept. So the code will be moved to the my Docker machine. Okay. Same way we can create hundreds jobs, right? So it totally depends upon your logic or the requirement, what you want to achieve. So as per requirement, you can create the jobs, and you need to have a uh, you need to have a connection between these jobs. An example, if job one is successful, then job two should get executed. If job two is successful, then job three is to be executed. So we want to create such kind of a pipeline. Okay. So let us do one first thing. Let's go to our GitHub. First, we'll create GitHub project. Okay, so we have my repo. Let me see what is in this. Okay, so this is something which I don't want. I will go to settings and remove this repository. Okay, I will give my repo. So whenever you are deleting a repository, you have to give the password. What happened? Okay, Okay, so it is deleted. So what I will do, I will create a repository. Repository, and I will call it my project. Okay, we'll create a public, create repository. Okay, so we can create a project which is related to Maven, means our Java project, and we want to see whether it is get compiled or not. Okay, so for that, what I will do, I need to have one Maven install, and I think, okay, so let me install a kit here. Yum, I say Ubuntu apt install git. Okay, so git is installed. Now let me apt install Maven. Okay, so let me install git and Maven on my machine. Okay, it is installed. If I say mvn -v, so it is showing that Java is installed, and we have the Maven is installed 3.6. Okay, fine. Okay, so what I will do here, I will create a directory, mkdir, say some directory I'm creating, my project. Okay, and next I will go into this directory. I will create a Maven project. So consider this project is not on my machine. It will be on some other machines, and they are uploading onto the GitHub. And I'm just trying to build it by using the Jenkins. Okay. So here, what I will do, I will create the Maven project by running that command mvn and rtype and colon generate. Okay, it will ask about that project number. I'm fine with this. Okay, 8 number is fine. Group ID. Okay, so group ID I will give com dot Raman. Artifact ID my project, and version ID same, package is same. We want to create yes. Okay, build success. So I just want to confirm that things are there. My project. If I go to my project, okay, and my project, and if I say ls, so there are form.xml just to verify everything is fine or not. So I will run the command uh, mvn package. Okay, so now this is successful. So if I say ls, there should be a target folder, and if I say ls target, there should be a jar file. Okay, so it means this is successful. So I want to remove this, so I will say mvn clean. Okay, so I think I forget to update my file which has the /etc/sudoers, because I need to give the permission to the Jenkins user, right? So that entry I need to do it here. So let me just go to that. One second, just let me check that entry. So I'm here. So here I need to write Jenkins. So Jenkins is the username, right, to which I want to give the sudo access. So I will say all equals to, and in bracket all, okay, bracket close, and there is no password required for this. So I will say no password colon and all. Okay, so this entry basically makes the Jenkins user as a administrator in the uh, as a administrator, right? Sudo user, super user. Okay, so we have created this project and we have cleaned it. Now if I say ls, so there is no target folder. Now I want to move this code to the my GitHub repository. So first I will say git init, right, and git set, uh, and I will give the my, this is my clone ID, git not set remote, add origin, and I need to give my origin name, which is this. Okay, so git origin is added. Now if I say not actually this place, I need to set it for the one step above. So what I will do, I will copy this, I will go one step above, and here if I say ls minus la, so there is my project, there is no .git. So if I say git init here, okay, and now if I run the same command, which is git remote add origin, and I will paste that command. Oh, okay, okay. Now if I say ls, okay, and if I say ls minus la, so I have a .git folder. Now I want to move this project to my GitHub. So I will say git push origin master source does not match any. Oh, failed to push the source specific any. What is this? Okay, let me do again. I think I'm using correct command. Let me open one more page. So in my DevOps notes, if I go to git commands, URL is wrong. Okay, so let me just copy it one more time. And let me say dot git. Okay, so it is already exist. So instead of add, we need to use set URL. That is set URL remote add set hyphen URL. So the syntax is push set URL, name of the new URL. Okay, so if I say set hyphen URL and the name of the URL, okay, it is looking for add origin also. One second, what is the command? So remote set command is not there. So git set URL remote add. I think I am using wrong syntax. Okay, let me just check it. So this guy will help me. Yeah, Shrikant, I'm just checking that. So git remove minus v. That's a better option. Okay, it is removed. And now we can run the command. Oh, what the heck? So this guy is not helping me. Oh, come on, this I have done a lot of time. Git remote set URL origin. Okay, so I'm using this and we'll copy this URL. Yeah, okay. So now if I say git push origin master, okay, what is happening? Git branch. Okay, so what is the problem? Can anybody tell me? What is the problem? There is a problem. It is not able to push. There is a problem with the git push. Can anybody tell me what is the problem? Okay, so you are not in master. Okay, this is when the master will get created. So I need to say git status, right? First, let us see the status. So there is one project, right? So I need to add this git add, and I want to add everything. Okay, so if I say git status now, So there are some files, right, which is to be committed. So if I say git commit -m, and if I say there is some misbehavior, it does not looks like normal way. Okay, so if I say git commit, okay, let me just check one status one more time, git status, and it is showing me. So where is my command? No commits yet. Okay, these are the changes. Okay, so if I say git commit -m, and I'm saying this is my project. Okay, so looks like it is done. So if I say git status, okay, so nothing to commit. And if I say git push origin master, now it will ask the username. So this is my username and the password. So now the new branch get created. Now if I go back to my repository, my project, right? And if I refresh it, so now you can see there is a my project. Okay, that is what I wanted to do. So my job one is to pull this latest code from the. So what I will do, I will create my job one. Okay, so instead of job one, what I will do, I will create. Let me delete this job. I will create a new job and I will call git job. Okay, so I will call it git job freestyle project. Click OK. Okay, and what I want to do, I want to connect with the GitHub. So this is my GitHub project. So we need to copy the clone. So if I go here and copy this clone, and I will go back here and paste my URL. Okay, now next is I want to give the code management, source code management. So this is a public repository. If it is private, you need to give the username and password and which uh, branch you want to build is a master, right? So this is my job one, which I want to do. I want to pull the data and I want to see whether it is successful or not. Okay, so that's it. And I will say save. And if I build it, so before creating the uh, pipeline, I want to check manually whether everything is running perfectly or not. So if I build it and if I see the logs, so console output, so it is successful and it is saying under the home folder, there is a workspace folder, GitHub project is created. Okay. So if you want to change the home folder, you can change it in the configure system where I have shown you. So if I go here and this is my separate folder, right? So if I say cd and if I paste it into that folder where that job get created, and if I say ls here, so you can see there is a my project. So it is basically get downloaded from the GitHub. So this is fine, right? So this is fine. And if I say cd my project, and if I say ls, so you can see there is a pom.xml and the source.xml. Okay, so this is absolutely fine because That is what I want. But I want that this is to be done automatically. Okay, so this is to be done automatically. For that, I need to use some automate technique. So one of the automatic technique is webhook. Okay, so in the webhook, basically, what is the purpose of webhook? So here I need to build that job manually. So that manual thing I don't want. I want that everything is to be automatic. Means as soon as developer is pushing the code into the GitHub, this particular job should automatically build. So for that, what I will do, I need to make some changes. Okay, so I will go to configure. Okay, so I'm saying here, GitHub web, GitHub hook trigger with the git scm polling. Okay, so that polling is basically what it does. As soon as you update the code into the GitHub, it will it will basically automatically get trigger with this option. Okay, so let us see how to do that. So we need to go back to our uh, GitHub, and the repository which we have cloned, we need to go to the settings. Okay, and here you can see there is an option which is called webhook. You need to click on this. Okay, and here you need to add a webhook. So basically I need to define a URL related to that, and that URL, how, from where you can get it, that will be your Jenkins job, not job, Jenkins URL. So if I copy this and if I go here and I will paste it here. So I'm saying create a webhook for for my Jenkins. Okay. So in this case, actually, I'm instructing to my Jenkins by saying that there will be a update comes from my payload URL. Payload URL is nothing but it is a where it will be uploaded. Okay, so say an example, you want to upload a file, so we call it payload. Okay, so from GitHub, I want to upload a file whenever there is a change happen. So for that, we are going to use the webhook. So I'm saying that you need to use GitHub hyphen webhook. So it is basically an API, REST API, which sends some data to send means it is just posting that data to that particular URL. What data it is posting? The code which is get updated. Okay, and that's it. You need to say add webhook. Okay, so if this tick mark is of green color, so it means this is proper. And if there is any issue, maybe firewall issue or anything else issue, so you can edit it, or you can delete it and add a new webhook. Okay, so I have created this webhook. Now let us see and here what I have done, I have created webhook SCM polling, right? So that's it, and save it. Now my job one, which was without webhook, it was successful. Now what I will do, so here if in my project, if I say cat src, so I'm in the workspace, and actually we need to see that folder. If I say tree, so okay, if I say apt install tree minus y, so it will be helpful. Okay, if I say tree now, so you can see there is a file app.java. So we will change this file and we will see that whether automatically that update is happening or not. So I will not change it here. I will change it into my source code. This is my, so basically what I'm doing, my code is into some other server. I'm uploading into the GitHub, and or we can do manually also. You can go there and update it, but it is a better approach if you go with the GitHub command. So what I will do, I will go, and if you say cat and src/main slash java slash com slash raman slash app.java, if you see the content is hello world. Okay, and now if I want to change something, hello world, and I will add something into this, and I want to see whether it is get that job get executed automatically or not. Okay, so for that I will go to cd/home/ubuntu. Okay, and here we are having my project, so I will go to my project, and if I say ls, so there is a my project. So if I say cd my project, all right, and if I say vi, right, and if I say src slash we have main, under main we have java, under java we have com, under com we have raman, under raman we have the app.java. Okay, so this is the program. So let me change something here. So hello world, and if I say welcome to, so I need to edit my I will press hello world, welcome to Jenkins. Okay, so I'm just saving this. Any code changes, because we are not changing any code related thing. So that it's basically developers are giving that code to you, and I save it. Okay, so I will go one step above, right? And if I say git status, okay, so there is one modification. So if I say git and add dot, okay, every modification is to go into the, so if I say git push origin, oh sorry, git commit -m app dot java file is modified. Okay, so commit is done on the local repository. Now if I want to update in the uh, remote repository, git push origin master. Okay, I need to give my credential. Okay, so it is uploading, and delta is uploaded. So if I go to my GitHub, see, automatically this job is started. Okay, so I think now if I go to my repository also, okay, and here if I go to my project, if I go to source, under source, if I go to Raman, and under Raman, if I go to app.java, so you can see there is a code change. And because this code change happened with the help of webhook, now it is automatically get triggered. And once it get triggered, if I go to my home directory, which is nothing but this directory, and if I say cd and if I say cat src slash win slash java slash com slash raman slash app.java. So now you can see the updated content comes to my. So my first task is done. Anyone has any doubt, any question? Okay, so I don't see any question. Okay, so now my job one is done. Now second job is that build the project with Maven or any other build tools. So what I need to do is now my second step is that once the job is first job is executed successfully, I want to create a job which basically go to my GitHub project and it will build it. So if you see here, there is no target folder, right? So if I say ls, so there is no target folder. So I want to create a target folder, means I want to basically build it. Okay. So for that, if we run the Maven, uh, if we use the Maven, so for that Maven is to be installed on your target system. And if it is installed, then you can run the Maven commands also. Okay. So for that, what I will do, I will create one more job. So I will go to my Jenkins, go to my dashboard. Okay, weather is sunny. It means everything is good. So I will create a new item and I'm saying build job. Okay, so I will create a build job. Um, I will create the freestyle project. Okay, and here whatever you want to write, you can write it here. And I will go to my shell. And in the shell, what I will do, first thing, I will cd to my folder. So I will cd to my this folder first. So I'm here. Okay, so this is my first command. Second, once I reach there, I need to run the sudo maven package command. If you want to run compile separately, package separately, it's up to you. So I'm running the package command. And if you want to create the different goals, it is up to you. But for this purpose, this job purpose, I want to execute this. So let me see one more thing. If I say maven clean here, okay, so this is successful. So if there is no target, even though if we run the maven clean, It should not throw the error. Okay, so what we can do, we can run two commands, because if I build multiple times, I need to clean the package first, target folder. So I will run goal as maven clean and maven package. Okay, I will save this, my build job. Okay, so once it is done, then I will click on build now to test. Individually, I'm testing whether it is running fine or not. Okay, so looks like everything is successful. So if I go here and if I say ls, so I can see there is a target folder get created. And if I say ls target, then you can see there is a jar file get created. Okay, so there is a jar file get created. So this is absolutely fine, right? So if I run it again, so first it will clean, right? So first it will clean and then it will create the package. So second time also it runs successfully. And if you want to see the output, what it has done, just click on this button and you can see the output of this. So it is success and everything, whatever the output you get it when you run these commands on the command prompt or terminal, the same command, same output, it will show it here. Okay, so this command, this job is also successful. So what I want to do, I want that this particular job will get executed when my GitHub job is successful. So for that, I will go back to my project, go back to the dashboard, and under the GitHub project, I will go to the configure. Okay, and here I will create the post build job. Okay, so build other projects. So I'm saying build job, right? So this is my build job, which I want to execute it when my build is stable. Okay, save it. So if you want to test it jointly, so let us do that. So, so my step number 1 is done, my step number 2 is done. Now I'm testing these two jobs together. So I want to check if I make the job, if I make the changes in the GitHub job, then whether it will be automatically get built or not. Okay, so and for that, let me do one thing. Let me create one more terminal. So otherwise, I need to switch from one to another. So can we go to the new? Okay, and if I connect with this. Okay, so why it is taking time to connect? Okay, some timeout. Let me do that. Oh, it is taking time. Okay, so it's not allowing me. I don't know why. Let me try it from here. If I say git bash here. Or maybe I'm using wrong. One second. I was using wrong connection string. Okay, so sudo su. So here what I will do, I will go to my projects. Okay, and here I have the my project. So now what I will check that the build is successful or not. Okay, so how can you test? Through the jobs? We will test it from the job. So we are here. I will go to VI, SRC, bean, and this app.java. Okay, I will modify this file and I will write it here with CI/CD pipeline. Okay, I will save it. Okay, so now if I say git add dot git commit -m, I can write anything. New code change. Second time. Okay, so this is done. Let us see our jobs. So we'll go to our oh, we did not push it. We did not push to the so git push origin master. Okay, error to push it. What happened? Updates are rejected because remote machine contains that worker do not have them. Git push origin master, what is rejected? Okay, so it is saying rejected. Can anybody tell me what is the problem? I know the problem. Why it is rejected? Git pull we have to do. I guess we need to do git pull. Actually, it's not git pull. That is for sure. Anyone who is watching this from the beginning. No one need to sync. No, that's not a problem. Syncing is not a problem. Duplicate repository. Duplicate repository. No, actually, okay. I think we need to go to parent folder because we are in this, right? And if I say git status here, now you can see this I was doing into the child directory. So which is not my remote directory. So my project is the directory which is to be committed. So what I need to do, git add dot git commit -m. So I will say app dot java is modified second time. Okay, so this is done. Now if I say git push origin master, now I need to give my username and the password. Now it should work. So now the delta is uploaded master to master, and my jobs should also see it is in the build queue. So it is working. And after that, the build job should be executed. Okay, so that we need to verify. So see, now build job is in the queue. So automatically, so down you can see there is a build job is running, right? Same way, you can see here both the jobs executed successfully. So let us refresh this, and you can see 20 seconds ago build 3 happened, 30 seconds ago. So it means now my job 1 individually, which is the GitHub job, it is running individually as well as my build job that is also executed successfully individually and with the Git job. So now you may see little bit automation, right? So I'm just pushing the code into the GitHub. Automatically these jobs are getting executed. So now it is the matter of the job which you are creating. So say an example, if you want to create a job for test, so this will be our next step where we are creating a test job or testing job. Okay. Because we are not familiar with the Selenium, so Selenium people will actually this build what we will do, we can do in this way. So we have this jar file, right? Here we will creating a jar file, and that jar file we will copy it to our Docker machine. Okay, so that we can do. So for that, what I will do, I will create a mapping. Okay, so what is the mapping? So mapping, can anybody tell me if there is a file and that file is on my build server and I want to map it, that build server, to a mm, Docker folder, means there will be one folder in the Docker container that will have the same file which is on my host machine, which concept we have used in the Docker. So my question is that I have a file, jar file, and that I want to move it or map it to my Docker container folder. Which concept of Docker we need to use? Um, Map volume, that is one option. Very good. And Mukesh is saying bind mount. Very good. Docker map, that will also work, but volume or so what basically we will do? We here the best, which is I would suggest the best thing is that bind mounts. Okay, so we will create a bind mount which will map our local folder to a folder in the Docker machine. Okay, so that we will do. So I don't want to move this. I want to move the folder because this is my source folder, which should be on some other machine. So I want to, I'm sorry, map this particular thing right to my Docker. This folder, which is var lib Jenkins workspace. Okay, so your wish, right? So if you want to do it as a job separately, because this will be one-time activity. So wherever there is one-time activity, we don't prefer to create a job. Okay, so in the Jenkins, if it is one-time activity, so say an example, you are installing a software, you're not installing on every build. So in that case, what we will means I would suggest that don't create a job for that. Do that on the system level. So here, what I want to do, first I need to see, like you want to install Docker. Okay, so Docker installation is not preferable as a Jenkins job because Docker is one-time activity to install the Docker. So first let me install the Docker. So I will say apt install docker.io -y. Okay, so that Docker is installed. And what I want to do, this is again a developer zone. If they want to create a Tomcat server, Apache server, whatever they want to do, you can do it by creating a Docker file, right? So you can create a Docker file, whatever the software is required, you can install it, right? And again, the Docker file is probably, if you are not updating the source folder uh, very frequently, then we can go with the Docker file one-time job. So what I will do, basically, I will go to my notes and I will, this is my GitHub notes, right? And if I go to my Docker notes, Docker commands, and this is my Docker file. So I will create this Docker file and I will modify it. So if I create a Docker file here, okay, so now here totally depends upon your, because jar file is not, uh, we cannot run it in on the web server. Jar file is not a web application, var file is a web application. Okay, so but again you need to do some configuration, whether you want Tomcat server, WebSphere, WebLogic, whichever uh, web server you want, you need to run that web server. Here we have taken the example of Apache, right? So I don't want to add this. Actually, if you remember, do I have that code here or not? I'm not sure. If you remember, we have done one compose file concept where we have created the So if you see this topic, compose file, right? So in that, this is more, uh, you know, it's a kind of a more eligible for the automation process, because if you run a Docker file, it is one-time job. But compose file, you can make it up, down, and scale out, scale down. So if you, I don't know whether you remember it or not. So if I say Docker compose file example for the WordPress, which we have done in our Docker class, and if you see, this is the code which is written in the YAML. Okay, so how to install him? So it automatically takes that image, some other parameters related to your database and WordPress dependencies. Here you can define the volumes. So we can create volume instead of bind mounts in that case. Okay, so this activity, so you can take it as your assignment for this. Okay, create the compose file and run the containers. Okay, so but what I'm going to do, I'm I want to move this file to my, or actually Docker file is again not a good choice. So what I will do, I will run a Docker run, and I will use the bind mount concept. So if you see bind mounts here, Docker run minus, so this command we need to run. Okay, and here this is my source. So source folder will be this one, right? I'm in the source folder. Okay, I'll give the full path. My project. Okay, so this is my source folder. Under this folder, we have target folder. Under target, we are having the file which was created. Its name was my project 1.0 snapshot.jar, right? So that we can give my project.snap, so that I want to map it to the folder wherever you want it is to be mapped, right? So for the demo folder, and I'm saying my image is the Ubuntu image. Okay, so now this I'm doing manually here, but because it is one-time job, it is not one-time job. With the help of the compose file, you can make it automate. Okay, so now this is done. Now, if you say Docker ps, so you will find there is one Docker is running, and if you go to that folder, so this is basically, we will go to the Docker execute -it -d, and I will go to the container. Okay, and bash. If I go inside it, and I'm not inside it, that why? Oh, not -d, Docker -it container ID bash, right? So I'm inside it, and if I say ls/demo, if I say ls/demo, okay, so if I say cd Why it is not showing? There is a demo file. Why demo file? What command we have run? Slash demo only. Oh, yeah. So actually I mapped the file. It should not be a file. It should be a folder, right? So I mapped a file. That is why it is not showing anything. So let me do one thing. Let me come out of this and let me run a job again. So, okay, so what we'll do? So this command, instead of jar file, so instead of jar file, I will give the folder name, because in the bind mounts, we give the folder name. So I'm saying target folder, okay, to demo. So I'm creating one more uh, machine. So if I say docker execute minus IT and this, and if I say paste and bash, so if I say ls/demo, so you can see my jar file is available here. So now whenever there is an update happens, so it will be automatically get moved to my, and so it will be automatically moved to here because I use the bind mount. But you can use the volume and create the compose file, and the build command for the compose file, which is docker compose up. So if you see here, docker compose up, okay, that command is missing. Here it is, docker compose up -d. So it will run that compose file. Okay, so that you can try it from your end. Okay, so basically there my third job, which is a test job, that we will do after a break. We'll take a 15 minutes break, and then we will create the job 3 and job 4 and create a pipeline. So I'm back now. Okay. So now you have seen that we have created Git job 1, we have created build job 2, and let me create one more job, which is a test job, and I'm just writing in the testing job, I'm just writing some command basically. So I will go to my build step, execute shell, and I think it is disconnected. That's why it is. So I need to log out, log in again. Okay, so testing job, I will configure it and I will create the build here, execute shell, and I will say echo testing is done. Okay, save it. And this job is to be executed when, if I build it, it should be straightforward, should not be any error, right? So you can see the success, and success is testing is done. Okay, so this job I want to execute when my build job is done successfully. So I will go to my build job, and once build job is successfully done, then I will go to the build other project, and here I will give the testing job. Okay, and save it. So same way you can create multiple jobs, and I'm just stick to these 3 jobs which get created. Now you have seen that this particular thing is now automatically happening, right? This is a part of a you know, it's a CI/CD pipeline, but it's not exactly CI/CD pipeline. You have to build a pipeline which will show all these things in a proper manner. So to do that, what we need to do, first we need to install a plugin. So we'll go to manage Jenkins, and we will go to the manage plugins. Okay, and here what we need to do, we need to install one plugins. So before, when you don't install this plugin, let us see how it will. So you can see this plus symbol here. So if I click on this, I see 2 options, list view and my view. And after installing that plugin, it will show one more radio button, which is for the build pipeline. Okay, so that's what I want. That's why I'm installing a plugin. So here under available, because it is not installed. So here I will search for build pipeline. I think it's with space. Okay, so build pipeline. Okay, so if I click it, and you can say install without restart. Okay, so it is installing that plugin, and it is now successful. So if I go back to my top page, okay, so I will click on this plus symbol, and now you can see there is one more option is added, which is build pipeline view. So if I click on this and I give the name of my pipeline CI/CD, or you can give any name. and I will say okay. Once you create this pipeline, whatever the title you want to give, you can give that title, say my, or you can say my CI/CD, my project CI/CD pipeline. Okay. Here is the triggering option. So here you can see upstream and config file. So basically here you need to select your first job. So my first job is GitHub job, right? So this is my trigger point. So I'm saying this is the thing and say okay. So here you can see now there is a pipeline get created, and this pipeline is saying that uh, there is a job git job which has run 3 times so far. So there are 3 build has done. There is a build job for them. For that we have 3 builds, and for testing we don't have any builds so far. Okay, so this is what basically is the job, and now I want to monitor it, because now this is the visual interface for you, where you can see that my jobs are getting executed in a sequence manner. So in that case, I will go to my GitHub, or I will go to my this machine, not here, other prompt. I will go here and I will update that file. So if I say source, that is 1 second. So if I say ls cd my project, okay. So if I say vi my project, vi source, under source we have main, under main this. Okay. So in this file I will make some changes. I will make some code change with build pipeline. Okay, I will save this. So I'm inside my project, so I will go one step above and I will say git add dot git commit -m code change for CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so that is done. Now if I say git push origin master, and if I say online training, because the password is wrong, looks like. This is okay, so the file is pushed and we need to monitor our this job. Okay, so you can see there is a 4th build is done now. See, my build job is running. Okay, now my testing job is done. So this is my CI/CD pipeline which I have created. Anyone has any doubt, any question? I don't see any questions so far. So far what we have done, we learn all these tools separately. And now with the help of the build pipeline or with the help of Jenkins, I'm clubbing all these tools into one umbrella. So it is under one umbrella where we are having all the tools, club them together and create a sequence. Okay, so now let us, so this pipeline we have created CI/CD pipeline. Now this is the one way. Other way is your uh, Jenkins files. So you can perform these things with the code also. For that, we create the Jenkins files. Okay, so what is Jenkins files? So Jenkins files is basically creating a CI/CD pipeline and creating that CI/CD pipeline uh, with the help of the code. Okay, so what do you want? That instead of creating this, what about job 4? Okay, someone is asking question. Moving build code into the staging server. So that Vibhakar, so it is the same way you will create multiple jobs, right? Job 4 or 5 or 6. So you need to write a appropriate code for that and create the job. Okay. So job 4 which will move your jar file to the. So I have created the bind mount. So I had given as an assignment, you can create a compose file for that and map it with the volume. Okay, so that will be your homework. Is it clear to you, Vibhakar? Okay, so so if we see the advantages of pipeline first of all, so you can see we we have created everything. If you want to perform a automation in DevOps without Jenkins pipeline, it is very difficult to perform. Okay, so Jenkins pipeline is basically the way where your code is stored into some files, and that files is moving into the source code management. Once it is checked in, then it improves the user. Uh, you know, the interface means automatically it will build, it automatically get tested, and so on. Okay, so one way is that with the help of the tools, you use this Jenkins files, Jenkins process. The other way is the Jenkins files. So Jenkins file is basically a text file that stores the entire workflow. So this we call the workflow. So it stores entire workflow as code, and you can perform the task like get, Maven or other types of tasks by using Jenkins files. Okay, so now if you are a developer and you are comfortable with the coding, then you can use the Jenkins files. So you can access it, you can edit it, and you can check your code anytime. Okay, so Jenkins file is basically written in the Groovy. Okay, so Groovy DSL. So the Jenkins file is written using the Groovy DSL, descriptive, specific. That is descriptive. Uh, One second. What is the full form of DSL? I believe descriptive. mm, I will let you know what is DSL full form. Okay. So, but it is written in the Groovy, and it can be. You can create it Jenkins files with any text editor which supports Groovy. Okay. So when we are talking about the Jenkins files, so there are basically two ways. So one is the declarative, declarative pipeline syntax, and other is scripted pipeline syntax. Yeah, it's yes, Hemant, thank you. It's a domain specific language. That's correct. DSL is domain specific language. So scripted pipeline syntax. So in the declarative pipeline, it is basically a new feature that supports the pipeline as a code concept. So what it does, it basically it makes the pipeline code easier to read and write. So there is a way to write the declarative, and the code which you are writing in a Jenkins files, which can be checked into the source control, such as Git. So you can move that code into the source control, and you can use that declarative pipeline from there. Whereas in the scripted pipeline, it's a traditional way of writing the code. So basically what is happening in this pipeline, the Jenkins is written on the Jenkins UI instance. So we will create that UI instance and we can write our code into that. So that is the scripted. So both of these pipelines, these are based upon the Groovy DSL. So the scripted pipeline, which is means it is up to you whether you want to use the declarative or you want to use the scripted. So now there are different components or there are different concepts of the pipelines. So there are concepts of the pipeline. First is pipeline itself. So what is the meaning of pipeline? So it is basically user-defined block which contains all the processes such as build, test, deploy, etc. So how do you write it? Basically? So you write it pipeline. It is in small letter, pipeline, then curly braces and close the curly braces. Okay, so this is the Groovy syntax. So pipeline basically contains all the processes, whichever you want to perform. So you can say it is the top level block. Okay. Second is node. So in the node, basically what happens, it indicates the machine where you want to execute this. Okay. So node is a machine that executes the entire workflow. And it is a part of the scripted pipeline syntax. So what you can do, you can write node and then curly braces and then curly braces close. Okay. If you want to run a particular node, you need to give that node name. Okay, so this way basically you declare the node. First is the pipeline, second is the node, and there are some section which is available in which is common in both of declarative and scripted pipeline, such as stages, agents, steps. So first let us talk about the agent. So agent is a basically a directive. Okay, so it's a directive that can run on the multiple builds with only one instance of the Jenkins. So what is the purpose of this? It basically helps to distribute the workload on the different agents and executes the several projects within a single Jenkins instance. So it basically helps to instruct the Jenkins to allocate the executors during the build time. So a single agent can be specified for the entire pipeline. So you can define one agent, or you can specify uh, agents allotted to a particular script. So that is basically the agent to. So it is basically allocate the executor. Okay. Now, if you say agent any, if you say agent any, so any means it runs the pipeline or basically it runs the pipeline on the available agent, any available agent. Okay. And if you say uh, none, okay, so this parameter is basically applied at the root of the pipeline, and it indicates that there is no global agent for entire pipeline, and each stage must specify its own agent. So it will basically creates its own agent, and there is no global level of agent is available. If you want to label any agent, you can use the label. Okay, so these are all related to the agents. Okay, and if you want to use something which we call Docker, so what this parameter use? So this parameter basically uses the Docker container as an execution environment for the pipeline or a specific stage. So if you write a pipeline something like this, pipeline, okay, curly braces, then we have agent, okay, and I'm specifying the agent as um, Docker, curly braces, and if I say image Ubuntu. Okay, so and we close all the braces. One, two, one more, three. So in this case, basically what will happen? So we so whenever your pipeline get executed, it will pull the Ubuntu image, and then this particular Ubuntu image can be used as the execution environment. Okay, so that is the thing which you can do with the help of the scripting language or Jenkins files. Now there are different stages. So what is stages? So in the stages, this basically contains all the work that needs to be carried out. So there are different stages like build, test, quality assurance, etc. And the work is specified in the form of the stages, and this is again within the directive. So how can you write? You can write the code something like that, your pipeline. So your code will be started with the pipeline, and then we have curly braces. Under that we have agent, and we have agent, say any agent, right? And then we will have the stages. Okay, under stages we have stage called build, where you will write the build code, and curly braces you will write the code, whatever the code you are writing. Curly braces close, and then we have the stage, which we call, say, test, where you will have the testing code, curly braces, so on. And this way basically we define the staging, quality assurance, and these are the user defined, right? So these all stages are user defined. Under stage we have the steps. So say an example, you are saying in my build I have step 1. So here you can say like this, under build we have, say, step. Okay, so my steps are this, some command you want to run, and or you can say steps command, curly braces, open, close, and so on. So the it is something like, under pipeline you have agent, under agent you have stages, under stages you have stage, under stage you have the steps. Okay, so let us try to create one pipeline by using the code. Okay, so what I will do, first I will go to my Jenkins. Okay, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new item, and I will call it, say, pipeline job, and here I'm selecting the pipeline project type. Okay, so I'm selecting this and click OK. Okay, it will open as it was showing earlier. So project, and if you see down here, so you can see this is the basically the pipeline which you want to create through the script. Okay, so you can use it. Okay, and you can create pipeline using another option, which is from the SCM. SCM is nothing but the some source code management, and there you need to create the file and you need to define that file, and you basically you are executing that file. Okay, so let us do one thing. Let us create one Jenkins file. So let me create a file. So I will create the file and explain you step by step. So first, what we need to do, we need to create the pipeline. Okay, curly braces. Under pipeline, I will create an agent. Okay, and I'm saying any agent, and then I will create the stages. Under stages, I will say it's a stage. So I'm saying stage 1. Okay, so this is my stage one. Okay, so under this stage, I will have the steps. So I will create the steps, which is under this. And what is my step? So I'm saying, I'm writing some code here. I'm saying echo. Oh, this is job number. This is step number. These these are the steps for stage one. Okay, so that I want to print, and then I will say curly braces close for this steps and curly braces close for my stage. Okay, so similar way, I want to use another. So this is my stage one. So if I make it little bit here, that so indentation is not a problem actually. So you can, because curly braces are the steps. So I have closed this bracket here. I have closed this bracket here. Now I will create another stage. Okay, so in another stage, I want user intervention. Okay, I want that user is to do some mandatory step here. So do you want to continue or something like that, right? So I'll create the stage, and stage I will call it 2. Okay, under this stage, I will create the step, and my step is basically here I want users input. For that I will use input. Do you want to proceed? Okay, question mark, and I will close it. So now so what this input will do, it will ask the user input. Do you want to proceed or not? Okay, so something like approval, right? And two curly braces, yes, closed. Now, now in step 3 or stage 3, so I have stage 3. Under stage 3, I will write the steps. Okay, so here I don't want to write the step, I want to write a condition. So to write a condition, you use when. So I'm saying, or I want to write a step basically on the basis of conditions. So I'm saying when, so I will write not, and here I will say branch equals to master. So if it is not the master branch, this curly braces, and this is for the when. So when this condition is true, then just write one message by saying that. So steps. So I want to say some message, right? If this condition is true. So echo. Okay, please select master branch for better performance. Or- Okay, so same way you can write other code which is related to step 5, step 6. Okay, and so this is for the curly braces. We have one curly bracket for our step is to be closed, and other curly braces for your. Okay, so I have created step 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let me do one thing. What we can do here, we can create some more steps. Okay, or let me check if something I have on my GitHub. One second, I'm checking on my GitHub. Because writing that job is a, let me see in the Jenkins, do I have that? Okay, so there is a Jenkins files. Oh, okay, so I have that code written here. So here you can see I have the pipeline agent 1, 2, 3, all these are written, right? And we have the input. Okay, and we have proceed. Okay, I have defined 4 and 4 stage also. So this will run in the parallel. And what it is doing, it is saying that there is a unit test, stage is unit test, and I'm just writing that unit test is running. And next stage parallelly, which will run the integration test. And these all, whatever I'm writing into the single code, these are the user defined. Means you need not to worry that it is a keyword. These are not the keywords. Okay, and I'm saying uh, stage 4, which is basically is the unit test. Okay, and in the unit test, it is running this and it is running Docker, where it is going to use the Ubuntu, and if that node is already there, it will reuse it and running the integration testing. So ultimately, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write this Jenkins file, and I want to execute it as a pipeline. So in my pipeline, basically these steps should be followed. And once these steps are followed, then I can, basically that is what I want to do as a pipeline script from the source code management. So I will use this folder then in this case. So this is Jenkins. Actually, I don't think I can use this. Or what I will do, I will Jenkins file. I will copy this. I go to raw. If I copy this, Control C, and I will create it into my a repository which I have created. My repository is my project, I believe. Okay, and I will create a new file, and that will be Jenkins file. Okay, and I will paste that code here, and I will commit the changes. It will build the job automatically in the Jenkins. Okay, so this file. So in the pipeline, I will say I need to take that URL. So I will go to my project and I will clone this, and I will go to my pipeline, and here I will say from SCM, and I will use git. Okay, Jenkins file. Repository URL is this one. Okay, and there is no URL, master branch only. Okay, and here you can select your GitHub project, paste. Okay, so this is the pipeline which is written in a file, and my file name is Jenkins file, where this is mentioned here, right? Jenkins file. So this is my file name, which is to be executed, and you can say apply and save. Okay, so now I have created that pipeline, which has different stages and a lot of things, right? So what I will do, let me build it. Okay, so it is getting built. See, it is asking, do you want to proceed? Okay, so it is stopped here basically for the approval. You can say proceed or abort. I'm saying proceed. Okay, so after that, whatever is the next step, it is running, and it is, there is some permission denied. Okay, so that thing is fine, but see, integration testing, it is failed because there was some permission issue. So we can see got permission denied while trying to connect to the Docker daemon socket at this. Okay, so there is some permission issue. Okay, so that is why it get failed. So you can go back to your project. Okay, so you can see here that project get executed, and on this stage it get some failure. So you can go and click on the log, and here you can see the log detail of this. So say an example, it is saying in 2 seconds self time. So it gives you the full detail. Okay, so there was no output for this. Okay, so you can see Docker pull Ubuntu using this. So when it was trying to pull the Ubuntu image, got permission denied while trying to connect to the Docker. So at this particular step, it get failed. So you can rectify this permission issue, and then in the it will be in the running stage. So let me run it one more time. So now basically what happened, my code, which is in the Jenkins files here. Okay, so this code is basically trigger it. So let me remove this because of this it is. So I will, if I say something integration testing. So so this is not required now. 1, 2, 3. So let me remove this. Okay, and I will simply say running the integration testing. Comment the changes. Okay, and you can say these changes are done. And now let me run that job one more time. So if I go to pipeline job and if I say build now, okay, so it is success. On step 2, it is asking, do you want to proceed? I will say proceed. Now it is going to my step 3 and it is built successfully. Okay, so you can see here it is built successfully. So this way basically we define our script file. So this is the one way you create the Jenkins pipeline. One way is that through UI interface, graphical user interface, or by using the Jenkins file. So that is the scripted pipeline. Now let us um, create with the help of the with some code. So if you want to perform any activity by using uh, code which you can write it into a pipeline. So how can you do that? I will go back and configure it. And I will go here. Instead of pipeline, I will say pipeline script. And this is the IDE for Groovy. Okay. And here you can write the code. So here you need not to write all pipeline and that stuff. You simply say node, curly braces. Okay, see automatically that down closing bracket comes because it is the IDE. Here you can write the code of the Groovy. So if I say I equal to 0, I less than 2, I plus plus. So those who are familiar with the C or C++ or Java language, they are familiar with this kind of code. Okay, in the for loop, I'm saying I'm in the stage 1. Stage, and I'm saying stage, and now I can use the loop and I'm saying plus I. So I equal to 0, so it will be initially in the first stage, and I want to print, say an example, hello world. And I'm saying if I equal to 0 means if value of I equal to 0, then do something, means write some code, and that code which I want to write, say echo, running on stage 1, running on stage 1, stage 0. If it is not, then else. So it is purely a programming algorithm, and you are saying echo running on stage 1, and this we call the groovy sandbox, and I will save it, and now I can run it. Okay, so you can see this job is built successfully. So you can see the logs. So first message was hello world, right? And the second log. So first message, which was common, running on stage 1, running on stage 0. So here you can see, because this was out of the loop, print message hello world. So that is why it is showing on top of each message. Okay, so this way basically you create the by the scripting. Anyone has any question, any doubt? Okay, so if you don't have any question or doubt, then we will see one project. I believe I have one project here in my DevOps notes. And here you can see final project. Okay, so this is the capstone project, which I found it from some internet, and I most of the time I discuss this with the batch at the end of the course. So here you can see you have been hired as a senior DevOps engineer in the Abode software. They want to implement the DevOps lifecycle in their company. You have been asked to implement this lifecycle as fast as possible. Abode Software is a product-based company. Their product is available under the GitHub link. This. Okay, so you can go to this link. The following are the specification of the lifecycle. Yeah, Vibhakar. Tomorrow is the Negios class. The following is the specification, and tomorrow is the last class where we will discuss about the uh, monitoring tool Negios. Okay, so Git workflow has to be implemented. Code build should automatically be triggered once the commit is made to the master branch or developer branch. So you need to create two jobs, one for the master branch and other for the developer branch. If commit made to the master branch, the test and push to the production. If it is made to the developer branch, it just test the project but do not push to the production. So you have to create the jobs in such a way, if it is master has done the commit, so automatic build and move to production. But if that build is if that change has happened in the developer branch, it should not move to production. It is just test the application. The code should be containerized with the help of the Docker file. The Docker file should be built every time there is a git push in the GitHub. Use the following pre-built container for your application. So there is this container they have created, but you can create any image, Ubuntu image or your own image. Better to create some index.html, and this project is basically related to that. Once the project is built, you have been designed a test case which will be basically check if the website is opened or not. So this fourth step you can ignore because it is related to the testing, and testing is basically Selenium. And if you want to do that, it's up to you. But if you don't know the testing, you can skip and you can write simple echo command by saying that testing is done. The above task should be defined in Jenkins pipeline with the following jobs: build website, testing website, push to the production. So these jobs you need to create. When you are setting the server for the first time, ensure that following file exists: test and production server in home Ubuntu config management status.txt file. So this file should exist. If this file is used by a third party tool, this should be basically have the info whether Apache is installed on the system or not. So there will be one file, and that file will have the information whether the Apache is installed or not. The content of the file should be based upon whether the Git is installed or not. Okay, so if Git is installed, so that content will also inside that file, which says Git is installed and Git is not installed. So monitoring part we will, okay, so this thing you need to do with the Ansible or Puppet. The seventh step, create a monitoring service for the website on the production server. So that you can, for today you can ignore it. Tomorrow we will create a monitoring service as well. So you need to use these tools to accomplish this product. That is Jenkins Master, Puppet Master, Nagios. So Nagios we need to discuss tomorrow. Testing server, Jenkins slave, production server, Jenkins slaves. Anyone has, or what you can do, it is already on my GitHub repository as a final project.pdf file. You can download it and you can go through this. And if you have any question, any doubt, you can send it to me. Okay, so anyone has any other question? Okay, I don't see any question. Actually, I'm done with the Jenkins. So if you don't have any question, okay, someone is asking, please give some examples. Any admin like OS or application admin can use the Jenkins for the day-to-day activity. Okay, so Hemant, these admin level activity, you can think that. mm, so one thing is that there are different scenarios or different types of requirement which you need to automate. One is software development. If you are a sysadmin, but now your role is getting changed as a DevOps engineer. So once you move into the DevOps engineer role, then you are not only the admin, but you are performing the task which is related to systems and their automation. There could be plenty of examples of the, as an admin, if you want to migrate your system from one data center to another, to some other data center, or to the cloud, then you can show that example into your resume by saying that I migrate with the help of the scripts. Okay, so I have created a pipeline and there were different steps, which basically step number one, I collected the data. Step number two, I wrote this script file. Step number three, I execute or build this script file. So migration could, you can, use that examples you can use in the Jenkins for a sysadmin people. Anything, so say an example, other tasks you can say that I want to automate my Java installation or some software installation on multiple systems, then I'm using the Ansible scripts, and script is in the GitHub. Whenever I make the changes, that script is to be executed, or my playbook should get executed. That examples also you can use for your sysadmins. Is it clear to you, Hemant Sahu? I want a career advice from you at the end of the session. Can you give me? Okay, so Vibhakar, you want me to make you unmute? 1 second. Yeah, Vibhakar, I made you unmute.
Yeah, hi Raman, good evening. I just wanted to ask you about how to proceed from here. Once course is getting over tomorrow,
Hmm.
then what would be your advice on, because I do not have a real-time experience of working on DevOps. Though I know,
Okay,
before this course, I used to work on Unix and Linux.
okay,
You can say an average, average kind of this thing. But the thing is, I didn't had any idea about DevOps. Now I'm pretty much confident about this thing. But the only disadvantage, or a lag I can say, is on hands-on experience.
okay,
So
okay,
can you suggest any website or any, how to get a real-time experience about all these tools and topics?
okay. So that's actually a very good question, and that is for all, I would suggest. First thing, once you go through each and every topic. So So in that, first you need to complete this project, okay, which is the capstone project. Again, it will brush up all the topics which you have already done, right? So you have some idea that how the logic will work. If I am going to create some workflow, Git workflow or build, right? So, okay, so Ola, okay, I will share that resume with you. Okay, so we will discuss that resume part also. So now second thing is that you are talking about the some real-time projects, right? So real-time projects with DevOps, I can provide you. I have some list of projects which right now I don't have, but I can share it on tomorrow's class. Okay, so which is basically having similar kind of stuff. Basically, that is for the 1 second. All I will. So that projects I will share with you probably tomorrow, which is having some description. Probably you need to find the solution for that, and uh, real-time projects are very much similar. So these days, I give you the example what I'm doing these days. So we are migrating into the AWS. So all our projects which is running in our data center. So we are migrating to the AWS. For that, we are writing some of the batch scripts in Python. Also, we are writing some programs. So one thing is that migrating the we are migrating the code to uh, to our VPC or our virtual private cloud. So these things are basically comes whenever you are do the migrations. So one of the person was asking what is the sysadmin point of view, how can I use the DevOps. So this is the best example. My data center which is running on my company premises, I want to migrate to the VPC. When I'm migrating, only server creation is not the job. I need to perform lot of things. I need to move my applications. And now they don't want the application on the virtual machine. They want the application as a Docker machine. So these are the challenges which you will get, and that is only with the help of the practice only. And once you are into some role which is related to DevOps, you will automatically get such kind of ideas or such kind of solutions in the by using the DevOps tools. But yes, again, I will provide you that list of the projects and description of the projects tomorrow, which will have the similar way as we are doing in the real time. Is it okay with you, Vibhakar?
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. And all of your and on my GitHub repository, where is my GitHub? On my GitHub repository, so there is some resumes. So let me just check it out. So all I saying there was where is that interview questions where I kept it. So here there are some questions and answers, Vibhakar, you can use for the revision point of view, all of you. And this is the sample of one of the resume, DevOps. Okay, so my Docker monitoring system. Okay, so this guy has created a lot of Docker related work, Kubernetes, Docker, and he has given its GitHub link as well. Okay, work experience, Docker Kubernetes engineer, Docker Kubernetes OpenStack he has worked, DevOps microservice engineer, Docker microservice. So Ola, so let me make you unmute, Ola. Yeah, so Ola, I make you unmuted. Can you hear me, Ola?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. So what is your
Okay.
question?
Yeah, I'm looking at this resume. It's so, I don't know, complex and
Complicated.
I can't even understand it.
Okay. So what you can do means, so how can you make your resume by seeing this? So this is one of the sample. So here, if you are applying as a fresher, so you can say Docker, uh, 1 year experience. So what are the tools you are using? So you can say Docker, or you can say instead of Docker 4+, you can say DevOps engineer as 4+ experience. And the tools which you have used, say Docker, Kubernetes, GitHub, all this you can mention in the summary. And here you need to basically, these are the projects. So which projects you have worked. So you can say, this is my project. Instead of giving the GitHub link, you can give the description of that by saying that in this project, Like if I take this capstone project,
Yeah,
so
so,
you can.
okay, sorry. No, sorry to cut you short. This guy, this resume is giving a lot of GitHub link, but if you're working with a company, the project you're going to be working is going to be private. How can you be giving the link to those projects?
Right, right. So you need not to mention that link here. You just need to give some description by of your project, that in my project I'm doing this, that, and I'm using these tools. So I think I have one more resume. Let me see that. Okay, so this is the professional summary, qualification, experience. I think this will be more neat and clean. So here on the top, professional summary, then you have the qualification, then you have experience. So you need to show experience as a DevOps engineer from this date to this date, and which company you worked, and what is your roles. So you can follow this pattern. Will it make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. Just try this one. I look at it, but I'm just thinking if you, like you said earlier, you're trying to give us some, what do you call it, content that one can include. Like, okay, I did this, I did that, I worked with, maybe I created the Jenkins CI CD pipeline with, maybe working with the application developer team using Ansible, all of that. So if you can give us some, I look at this one. I didn't.
Okay,
I
okay,
like this format.
sure.
I'll go use this format, but the content is not. There is no. If you look at it, there is not too much content that one can pick from.
Okay, okay. So that I will prepare it and I will share tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, anyone else has any question? If no, then let's wind up the call. We'll meet tomorrow.